Hey everybody, this is Leslie and you're watching Midlife and Nailing It. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It really helps my channel out and I'd appreciate it so much. Today I'm hosting a food challenge collab called Create Your Flavor with Ebony from Authentic Food Creations. Ebony does lots of cooking and baking on her channel. She also does grocery hauls and organization videos from time to time, so be sure to check her out. There will be a link to her channel in my description box below. There will also be a link to the playlist in my description box. This playlist will continue to grow because we will both tag someone to go next, then they will tag someone, and so on. I will be tagging Andrea Shaenanigans. There will be a link below to her channel too. I can't wait to see all the meal ideas. Okay guys, let's get started. So I am super excited to participate in this challenge. At first, I thought I was going to come up with a recipe that would wow everybody. And then the more I thought about it with what we're all going through right now, I really wanted to come up with something that could be versatile and that you could prepare with things you had on hand, or when you do have to go to the grocery store with any meat that you happen to find there. I don't know how it is in other parts of the country, but where we're at, you don't really get to make a list anymore and go to the grocery store. When you've got to go to the grocery store, you kind of look at what meat they might have on hand and you plan from there. Also, I would highly recommend not panicking and buying so much that other people can't have things, but getting enough so that you can stay at home with your family. Please don't go to the store constantly. Try to go very little. Use what you've got on hand. Be creative with what you've got on hand. That's what I would really recommend right now. So I had some liners left. I'm down to my last two, and once they're gone, I'm certainly not going to run to the store and get more. I guess I'll be scrubbing out a crock pot. So I went ahead and put a liner into my crock pot. The meat that I'm going to use to put into my crock pot are these thick country ribs. I am making extra here in hopes that we'll have leftovers for people to have the following day, or maybe even for dinner the following day. You can use any meat here. I'm using these country style ribs. You could use chicken. You could use a pork roast. You could use a beef roast. You could use meatballs. And I will go ahead in my description box below and put the simplest meatball recipe I can find. You could use sausage that you might have on hand, like andouille or anything like that. This is super versatile, guys. I am just going to season this very simply with salt and pepper. Most of us have that on hand. If you have more fancy seasonings on hand, go ahead and use those. Use whatever seasonings you like. I'm using barbecue sauce here. I happen to have this Pioneer Woman barbecue sauce on hand that I got quite a few weeks ago. I'm going to go ahead and use that because I'm trying to use up what's in my pantry. If you do have to go to the store during this time, you can find barbecue sauces for like $1. Berman's at Aldi's is a super good barbecue sauce. Whatever barbecue sauce you can get your hands on, I would recommend stocking up. Buy 3 or 4 of them, and then you can make this with whatever meat you have on hand while we're going through what we're going through. I'm going to use some brown sugar here. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in there so that it thickens my sauce a little bit. If you don't have brown sugar, you don't need brown sugar. Just use your barbecue sauce. It doesn't have to be a thick sauce to have flavor and to taste good. So I'm going to go ahead and get my salt and pepper on all sides of my ribs here and throw them in the crock pot. Okay guys, so I went ahead and got all my country ribs into my crock pot. Again, you can use any meat that you would like here. If you're doing a pot roast of any kind, or even chicken, what you might want to do when it's cooked the 4 to 5 hours on high, you want to use 2 forks and shred it up, and then let it cook another 30 minutes in the sauce. That would be the only difference here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my barbecue sauce that I'm using. Again, you can use any barbecue sauce you have on hand. If you've got to run to the store, stock up on barbecue sauce because this is super easy and versatile, and you can use it with any meat that you have. So Pioneer Woman's barbecue sauce is super thick here. I've not had this before. It's very thick, so it's not coming out real fast. So I'm going to go ahead and get a spatula and get the rest out here. Then I'm going to get my crock pot going on high for 4 to 5 hours. So for my side dish today, I am also doing another versatile recipe where you'll be able to use whatever you have on hand. I'm using this Trader Joe's rainbow cauliflower. If you watch my channel, you know this is one of my very favorite things from Trader Joe's. With this recipe, you could use any frozen vegetable that you wanted to. You could use any fresh vegetable that you wanted to. You could use broccoli, cauliflower, potatoes, carrots. You could do a mix of everything. You could do Brussels sprouts. You could really just use anything. I even do fresh green beans or frozen green beans. I do asparagus, you name it. So whatever you have on hand will work here. So all I do is I use a cookie sheet and I put some olive oil on it. I throw the vegetables on, and then I use whatever spices that I want to use. I'm going to use everything but the bagel seasoning here, but you could be as simple as just using salt, salt and pepper, or just salt even. So it's really super simple. And then I'm going to put a little more olive oil on top. I'm going to give it all a mix, and then I'm going to roast it in a 450-degree oven. This will probably go for about 25 to 30 minutes. The time may vary between 20 and 30 minutes depending on what kind of vegetables you're roasting. So you just want to keep your eye on it. I like my vegetables to be somewhat crispy with a little bit of char on it. Any kind of bell pepper or onion would work here too. Even like frozen sweet potatoes. You name it, guys. I roast my vegetables this way. So this is something that has a lot of flavor with very simple things that we all have on hand. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this all mixed up, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so my cauliflower is done, and it smells super good. My barbecue ribs smell super good. I can't wait to eat this meal. I'm going to go ahead and get this plated up so you can see what it all looks like, and I'll be right back. So this is what that meal looks like plated up. My barbecue ribs were falling off of the bones, and then I've got my rainbow cauliflower. During these times, during this pandemic, I know every state has different rules going on. I'm in a state that's incredibly strict right now. We can only go to the grocery store or the pharmacy if we have to, unless you're considered an essential worker, which are people in the medical field or people who need to go to work to sustain life is what the order is. And so during this time, my advice about cooking, shopping, food preparing would be just to keep it simple. Use simple, classic flavors, and then use what you have on hand. Only go to the store when you need to, and just do your best, guys. We're all going to get through this, and I hope everyone stays safe, and I'll see you soon.